What's going on, guys? Asian Guy here, bringing you updated news about the sugo-fest, the Katakuri sugo-fest, as well as Big Mum Pirates sugo-fest coming on the 31st of May at 12 p.m. lunchtime, JST Japan Standard Time. We have got all the units and what they do and all their artwork as well. Katakuri 6-star artwork. It looks beautiful. Thank you very much to Worst Generation. Link in the description down below if you want to see the attack animations, especially of the new units. You can find all that good stuff there. They're the ones data mining all this good stuff. Now, Katakuri, we already talked about what he does yesterday. I posed the question, do you guys think he's the best legend or arguably one of the best legends? And I have to say, at the end of the day, I think he's not close to Gear 4 now. I think he's probably around, well, I say not close, but I would put him at the 2nd or 3rd position as a legend in the game, so as the best legend in the game, 2nd or 3rd place probably. Shooter and Cerebral. Now, being a shooter, he can obviously use Colosseum Kid, and most likely Neptune's going to be a shooter type. It seems like we're going to be moving into the shooter meta, considering the fact that we are going to be getting a shooter ship, or most likely what's going to be a shooter ship in the form of a Capone ship. Now, that's very interesting. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm hoping that the Capone ship has something to do with making perfects easier to hit, just like the Zunisha ship, because that ship Zunisha, I hope it comes back to global and also Japan, because people who don't have it are kind of getting cucked there, because it's such a fantastic ship. Anyway, Shooter and Cerebral time, and he's also Strength Unit, which was really good news for a lot of people who have Lucy. People want to be pairing him up with Lucy, because Lucy is obviously red, blue, green booster, so that's pretty interesting in itself as well. Now, we still don't know yet how the delay works, whether or not it carries on from the previous turn into the next turn, and if it does do that, then I would definitely cement him as the 2nd or 3rd best legend captain at the very least in the game. Nothing else has changed about him from what we talked about yesterday. If you don't know what he does yet, go ahead and check that out, or go check the subreddit or any of the links in the description down below as well. So after Katakuri, we have a bunch of units. I should also mention the fact that he's Cerebral, because Cerebral is the best class in the game, whereas Shooter is arguably the worst class in the game. So they've kind of balanced him out that way. You can use the entire Robin batch other than Carrot, I believe, for him, which is pretty damn awesome. That's very interesting. And you can obviously use Robin herself, as well as the Quick Claw, the 2.25 times or boosting 6+ version. So keep those noted as well. But Neptune Colosseum, it's very interesting to see what he will be doing. We'll just have to wait and find out. But next up, we have got Oven, who is a Dex, Fighter, and Powerhouse unit. And boy, oh boy, Bandai just love doing this to Fisher Tiger. He is an upgraded version of Fisher Tiger, a much superior version, so this is very interesting. Boost the attack of Fighter and Powerhouse units by 1.65 times, 2.72 times if the unit has both classes, and reduce damage taken by 7%. But we're not here for the captain ability. His special ability is perfect for Katakuri, unsurprisingly. If there are delayed enemies, boost attack of Fighter, Striker, Cerebral, Powerhouse, and Shooter classes by 2 times for 1 turn. This is a normal attack boost, guys. This is not a conditional attack boost. Please do not get them confused. The conditional attack boost increases damage against delayed enemies. This one is kind of conditional, but it's based on as long as there's delayed enemies, then boost the attack of all of these classes by X amount. It's not increased damage to delayed enemies. Increased damage to delayed enemies is actually the wording for the conditional attack boost. Now, his other part of his ability is if there are no delayed enemies on the enemy team, boost the attack of Powerhouse and Fighter units for 3 turns. Fisher Tiger does that for Powerhouse units for 3 turns, but this guy does it for Powerhouse and Fighter units. He also has a Sailor ability, which means he has no weakness to Strength classes, because he does double damage to Strength classes. I mean, you know, I don't know why they do this. They did Log Kid dirty by introducing Boa San Sonia straight away after Log Kid came out. San Sonia came out like a month later or something, and no one ever used Log Kid ever again, which is a little bit disappointing. And then you've obviously got Oven, which kind of makes Fisher Tiger Limited Rare Recruit a little bit obsolete. Not sure what to make of that. Not sure what to make of that, honestly. And I'm still waiting on a Fisher Tiger Legend as well. But obviously, we don't know what he does yet, so we'll just have to wait and see in the anime or the manga. Whenever he ever gets revealed, I'm sure Arlong will come back somewhere in the future to save the day. And then Arlong and Nami will make a happy no, forget what I'm saying. Brulee, Sai, Cerebral, and Strike unit. Not that Cerebral need any more love. Captain ability. Her captain ability is actually pretty good if you pair her up with a zombie captain. Boost attack and recovery of Cerebral units by 1.5 times. And cut the HP of all enemies by 15% at the end of the turn. That's actually not bad at all. Her special. Change her own tandem Me Orb into Psy Orbs. And change all orbs, including block orbs, into the same orb Brulee has. So That's very similar to Dex Rare Recruit Kinemon, but I think that's a lot better. For 3 or 5 turns, depending on stage 1 or stage 2, she does have 2 different stages to her special, so different cooldowns. and 30 times her attack in tap timing bonus damage, so just like Sabo or Inuarashi special for 3 or 5 turns, which is also quite interesting, although I do not expect her to have that high of an attack, and 30 times extra tap timing bonus damage is really not that great. Her special, although it does work in tandem, or it works pretty well with Katakuri, it's still not a very good special for Katakuri. It's kind of a waste of a slot in my opinion. You don't really need him. Katakuri has his own inbuilt full board or matching mechanic, and extra 30 times attack and tap timing bonus damage is not that big of a deal in my opinion. But what it does do is it makes it a lot easier to hit that 1 million damage threshold or 2 million damage threshold to be able to delay people every single turn. So by looking at this, just looking at it from a logical standpoint, it does seem like Katakuri will be carrying over, he will be carrying over the special damage, or not the special damage, the special trigger for his captain ability for delay. So my prediction is that very much strongly he will carry over the delay, depending on how much damage you've done from room to room, which is why this Brulee has 5 turns of this tap time and bonus damage. It's also interesting to see what her cooldown is going to be, so we'll just have to wait and see. I'm very much excited. I'm a little bit disappointed we weren't able to find out today how the delay works, but I am now 95% certain he will carry over that delay, which makes him super overpowered. Next up, we have got Amande. Now, Amande I completely forgot about, but she's the one that gives fan service with Nami by like unzipping her buttons and, you know, revealing her cleavage. She does not synergize with Katakuri whatsoever and will get a 0 times boost. She is a slasher and driven type, int type, and slasher and driven class. Her special is pretty interesting, but however her cooldowns are very high. Her captain ability will boost the attack of slashers by 2.75 times and make recovery 0 for the crew. Now, her stage 2 special, not her stage 1, will reduce all enemies' defense to 0, that is fantastic. Remove 3 turns of any barrier on enemies' HP bar by, 3 turns is actually a significant amount. A lot of times you have 1 turns, but nowadays we are beginning to see more 2 or 3 turn barriers. That's pretty handy there. And cut 1 enemy's HP by 50%. Now, the way this is written, it does seem like to me she will remove the barriers first and then apply the 50% HP cut. Whereas some people, I believe 6+ Law does not remove the barrier first and actually does the damage first. I'm not entirely sure exactly how that works. But man, I am pretty interested to see how this works. Actually, I do believe 6+ Law does remove it first and then apply the damage. I'm confusing it with Senor Pink or Senor Thickness, the quick one. He applies damage first and then removes the barrier. But this way, if this is a 50% HP cut that can go through barriers, big yikes. However, her starting cooldown is 37 turns. I'm pretty sure this will max at something like 30 turns or 20 something turns. We'll have to wait and see, honestly. Very interesting stuff. And away from Amande, and I should say before away from Amande, stage 1 special is remove 2 turns of any barrier on enemy's HP bar, reduce defense to 0 for all enemies, and cut 1 enemy's HP by 20%, which in itself is actually a very good special still. We have got Bobbins! He is a quick slasher and free spirit unit. His captain ability will boost the attack of quick and psi units by 2.5 times, which is nothing special. His special, though, is actually special. Remove 5 turns of enemy's damage threshold, percent damage reduction, auto healing, defense up, and attack down on your own crew. He is a freaking utility beast. I would really love to pull this unit. Bobbin, as well as other 2 rare recruits that I will be pulling on. I will discuss the sugo-fest details in a moment too. He will change adjacent orbs into matching orbs as well, which is also very nice. I'm assuming his cooldown is going to be pretty low as well with limit break as well. His sailor ability, now the other units do have sailor abilities, but I didn't think they were too important, but this one is quite a significant one. If he is the final unit in the combo to attack, grant plus 350 attack to Bobbin, which is a significant chunk of additional damage and additional attack stats. So do keep that in mind if you do pull him. He also does not synergize with Katakuri, interestingly enough. Now this sugo-fest is going to be limited to Striker, Powerhouse, and Cerebral units. It's going to be all gold and above, but no boosted legend rate. So do keep that in mind. If I'm not mistaken, the only boosted legend is actually Katakuri, which is going to be interesting. We'll have to wait and see. On the actual day, I will be looking at the rates and deciding how many multis I'm going to do. First multi-pull, no gimmicks. Second multi-pull, no gimmicks. Third multi-pull will guarantee you one of the new units on the banner, so any of the new Big Mom Pirates, including Katakuri. 4th multi-pull, nothing. 5th multi-pull guarantees you a legend. 7th multi-pull guarantees you a legend. 10th multi-pull will guarantee a legend from a select 13 legends. And I have to say the worst legend in that pool is Nekomamushi or Magellan, if I'm not mistaken. And if those are the 2 worst units, they're pretty damn awesome. You've got all the legends that I'm currently missing in there. So Tesoro, V2 Shanks, and Katakuri, the 3 legends I do not have. So this is a pretty decent sugo-fest for me. I don't know how hard I'm going to go in. I really do still want V2 Shanks and also Katakuri. Obviously, Tesoro would be nice as well as a sub for my G4 Luffy team or for a Lucy team or whatever team. He's a very good sub. As a captain, he's not really to my playstyle. He's not brain dead enough. But it's a very decent sugo-fest for re-rollers as well, because you can kind of go for very strong legends here. Cerebral being one of the rated up classes. The guaranteed legends, if I can remember off the top of my head, these are the notable ones. Robin is in there, Shirahoshi is in there. As I mentioned, V2 Shanks. You've got Tesoro, you've also got the Katakuri, obviously, you've got V2 Rayleigh, Nekomamushi, Magellan. I believe Aokiji V2 is in there as well, maybe it's Aokiji V1, but he is getting a limit break, do keep in mind. That's 9 legends. Who else am I forgetting here? I can't remember entirely, guys. I do apologize. The 12th multi-pull, if I'm not mistaken, also has a guaranteed legend. And then the 15th multi-pull, I think, has a guaranteed legend from those 13 different legends available there. If you want to know the exact 13 legends, go ahead and click the link in the description down below, which will take you to the OPTC subreddit. A very good resource if you don't have any as of now. Now, what I also wanted to go back and talk about is Katakuri. Now, after I posed the question yesterday, do I think he is the best legend to you guys and myself? I put him on a very high pedestal. I'm not going to say he's the best legend in the game. Gear 4 definitely seems to be like the best legend in the game. What I will say though is he is the closest to Gear 4. I would say he and V2 Shanks are the, they're the runners up really right now. How the new content comes and approaches us may change that. Katakuri may trump G4, obviously, depending on content to content, it's obviously going to vary. There's going to be better teams to do different contents, and obviously G4 is just so overpowered right now. He does so many things. What I will say though is a lot of people are misunderstanding how this unit works. So first of all, his delay, if you hit 2 million damage on the previous turn, the next turn it will delay the enemy through immunity. A lot of people were like, delay is not important. And yes, delay is not important if you want to one-turn kill people. But if you're looking at it that way, you're already looking at Katakuri wrong. Katakuri's kit is not to sustain. It's not to be a tank and be able to delay and survive forever. The delay is there, so he has a unique boost that no other captain has. Which is why I made the point yesterday, essentially on his burst turn, you should look at Katakuri as if he is a 5.8 times captain. Which is an insane amount of damage. His damage that is there because no one else can have that damage. Think of it this way. G4, any other captain, Legend Luffy X-Ace, Legend Lucy, on your burst turn you use their specials to get that additional damage. You've already used up a normal attack boost. With Katakuri uses special, you've used a 1.75 times attack boost that no other legend can do on a boss that has immunity, right? And you still have space for an attack boost and an orb boost, which means his damage is actually higher than Gear 4 Luffy. It's higher than anybody else on a boss that has immunity, a boss that cannot be delayed, a boss that has any sort of immunity, whether that's debuff protection or delay protection. Katakuri is the best legend to go into that piece of content because he has the most brain dead damage for that content. He's insanely tanky, he's got the best orb manipulation. He is actually the best legend to deal with any piece of content that throws a ton of immunity at you. And even for content that doesn't delay you, or doesn't have any delayed debuff I should say, he's still amazing because he gets that attack boost. It's basically like his special is saying he has a 1.75 times attack boost, which no other legend can provide right now, which is really, really good. And people are just completely missing that point, and it really baffles my mind that people are just missing that point. It's such a big deal. And the fact that he boosts 3.33 times for so many different classes, as long as they have both of the classes, a lot of people are saying it's so restrictive. There is a thread on Reddit right now, courtesy of Pitanja, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Mr. Anelman, which showcases every single unit that you can run on his team. And boy oh boy, there are some good units in there. So please guys, you gotta understand that damage is possibly, and while I've spoken about his damage and how good his damage is, damage right now is the least relevant measure of how good a legend is for the last 15 legends or so. Every single legend nowadays in 2018, the latter half of 2017, can do well over 8 million damage to all colors. And there's only one boss in the game that has over 10 million HP, or actually has 10 million HP, and that is Invasion Garp. You can delay Invasion Garp, you can not kill Invasion Garp in 1 turn, you can kill Invasion Garp over 2, 3, even 4 turns. It's not a big deal, guys. If your team can deal over 7 million damage to every single color, you have a very strong captain that can basically spank everything. Do not compare the new legends to old standards. You know, forests are not a big deal anymore. The new standard is comparing to how well they do with Capone Forest. Comparing it to like Law Forest is a very, very outdated forest. You can even clear that with teams that can, you know, they don't need healing. You just stomp your way through it. Even Hody Jones can do it. Hody Jones 6+, who cuts his own HP. That's how outdated the old forests are. Please do not tunnel in on damage and think, oh my god, this team does 100 million damage on the damage calculator. No boss has 100 million HP. You're never gonna need 100 million damage right now. So that's what I want to get out there. It's been stressing me out that so many people don't see this guy's potential. They're like, 3.33 times is rubbish. Akainu V2 is a 3.25 times attack boost. How could you 3.25 times? Until you use the special, Luffy X Ace is a 3 times or a 3.5 times with matching orbs. He's actually better than those with the 3.33 times as a flat, and then when you use Luffy X Ace's special, you're using an orb boost, and you're boosting his attack to 4.25 times as a captain. When you use Katakuri, you're essentially boosting his attack boost to 5.8 times, and you still have space for an orb boost and an attack boost. And this is freaking insane. I don't understand how people are missing this point, and it really, really triggers me. He can activate a conditional boost that is not conditional. Essentially, he has a special. I'm going to say it over and over and again so people get it. His 1.75 times attack boost is not a conditional boost. Essentially, ironically, it's an unconditional conditional. It doesn't make sense. Katakuri doesn't really make sense to a lot of people, but for me, this guy is hands down a top 3 legend. He is going to be so good. And when Alex Kim, he is a great YouTuber, he does a lot of showcase videos. When Alex Kim showcases to the world how overpowered this unit is, people will finally jump on the bandwagon and they'll be like, yeah, we always said Katakuri was going to be good. We had the observation haki that he was going to be amazing. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on all of these units. For me personally, even if I don't pull Katakuri, I want to be pulling Oven and I want to be pulling Bobbins as well. Those two are fantastic units for utility, and obviously Oven is, you know, like pulling Fisher Tiger but on drugs, which is a bit of a shame for Fisher Tiger. I still don't have him. I would like to pull limited rare recruit Fisher Tiger, but don't really need to pull for limited rare recruits nowadays. Bit disappointed with the shooter lead. I would have hoped it was strike instead of shooter. You know, he's still holding his spear thingy. I forgot what it's called, mini trident like thing, but seems like he's never going to use it. Doesn't really matter. His attack animation is him flicking the beans. For those of you who don't know, in English at the very least, or in Britain, flicking the bean means to touch yourself in an erotic way to make yourself climax. Now that aside, thank you for watching, guys. I don't know why I ended the video on that note, but have a wonderful day. Katakuri top 3, boys. Katakuri top 3, calling it now. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, and bye bye.